You can't save them all. I can try. Nyla studied him for a moment, then nodded. All right, but we do this smart. We identify high-value targets people crews would prioritize and warn them directly. Face-to-face, no digital communication. That'll take days. Then we work fast. Nyla pulled up a map, started marking locations. Who are your top 5 clients? The ones crews absolutely needs to control? Adrian thought. Marcus Chen, dead. Vincent Russo, dead. That leaves 3. David Park runs a tech distribution network. Sarah Chen, she handles international wire transfers. And Gabriel Reyes, weapons dealer. Where are they? Park's in San Francisco. Sarah's in San Diego. Reyes is local, operates out of East LA. We hit Reyes first, Nyla said. He's closest, and if Cruz is consolidating power, he'll need weapons. We warn Reyes, maybe recruit him as an ally. Reyes doesn't do allies. He does transactions. Then we make it worth his while. Adrian checked his watch. Adrian, one more thing. David Park called me last night. Said he got a message from you asking to meet in San Francisco. Adrian's blood ran cold. I didn't send that message. I know. I told him. He's gone to ground, but you should warn him personally. Cruz has people in San Francisco. We will. Thank you, Gabriel. Don't thank me. Just make sure Cruz doesn't win. I have a very profitable arrangement with you. I'd hate to lose it. They drove back to the safe house in Pasadena, the car loaded with weapons. Elena was awake when they arrived, sitting in the kitchen with a cup of tea, staring at nothing. Hey, Adrian said gently. She looked up and he saw the distance in her eyes. The innocence was gone, replaced by something harder. I've been thinking, she said, about what happens next. You're going to disappear for a while, Adrian said. I'll set you up with new identification, send you somewhere safe. No. Adrian stopped. Elena, I said no. She stood, meeting his eyes. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm staying right here until this is finished. That's not... You don't get to decide what... Elena said, her voice shaking with emotion. You don't get to protect me anymore. Not after this. Not after what I've seen. Nyla leaned against the doorframe, watching the exchange with quiet interest. Elena, please, Adrian started. They tied me to a chair, Elena said, tears streaming down her face. They hit me. They told me they were going to cut off my fingers and mail them to you, and the whole time all I could think was, this is because of you, because of the choices you made, because you thought you could live in 2 worlds and keep them separate. I know. I'm sorry. I don't want your apology. I want the truth, all of it. What you do, who you work with, what this war is really about. Adrian looked at Nyla, who gave a small nod. Tell her. So he did. He told Elena everything. The money laundering operation, the cartels, the deals with arms dealers and corrupt officials, the violence he'd authorized, the people who had died because of decisions he'd made. He told her about Vincent's betrayal, about Cruz's ambition, about the empire that was crumbling. When he finished, Elena was crying openly. I always knew something was wrong, she said. The money, the way you'd disappear for days, the paranoia. But I told myself it didn't matter because you took care of me, because you gave me a chance. She wiped her eyes. I was a coward. You were innocent, Adrian said. That's not the same thing. I'm not anymore. No, Nyla said quietly. You're not. And you never will be again. That's what violence does. It takes innocence and replaces it with knowledge you can't forget. Elena looked at her. How do you live with it? By choosing what to do next, Nyla said. By deciding that the person you become matters more than the person you were. Elena nodded slowly, then turned back to Adrian. I'm staying, and I'm helping. Whatever you need. Absolutely not. I can research. I can coordinate. I can watch your back while you're out there risking your life. Her voice hardened. You don't get to protect me anymore, Adrian. But maybe I can help protect you. Adrian wanted to argue, to lock her in the safe house, to send her as far away as possible. But looking at his sister, bruised, traumatized, but standing her ground, he realized she was right. She wasn't a child anymore. This war had taken that from her. Okay, he said quietly. You can help, but you stay here. No field work. No direct contact with Cruz's people. Deal! Niela pushed off the doorframe. Then we need to move. Park's in San Francisco, and if Cruz has people up there, we're running out of time. Road trip? Elena asked. No, Adrian said firmly. Nyla and I go. You stay here with the weapons Reyes gave us. Anyone tries to get in, you call me immediately. I don't know how to use a gun. Then it's time you learned, Nyla said. They spent the next 2 hours teaching Elena basic firearm safety. How to load, aim, fire. How to clear malfunctions. How to move through the house tactically. She was terrified at first, hands shaking every time she touched a weapon. But she learned fast, driven by determination and fear. By noon, she could hit center mass at 20 feet with a Glock 19. Not bad, Nyla said. You're a natural. I hate this, Elena said, setting down the gun. Good. The day you don't hate it is the day you've become someone you don't want to be. Adrian hugged his sister. We'll be back tomorrow. Keep your phone on. Don't open the door for anyone. Be careful, Elena said. Always. They took the Audi north, pushing hard up the 101 toward San Francisco. The drive would take 6 hours under normal conditions. Adrian planned to make it in 4. As they drove, Nyla monitored communications, tracking Cruz's movements through encrypted channels. He's consolidating, she said. Reports coming in from San Diego, Vegas, Phoenix. Cruz's people are moving into positions your network used to hold. He's building an empire. And we're running out of time to stop him. The miles blurred past. Somewhere around King City, Nyla spoke again. After this is done, she said. After Cruz is dealt with. What happens to us? Adrian glanced at her. What do you mean? I mean, we're partners right now because we have a common enemy. But when he's gone, do we just walk away? Adrian thought about it. The truth was, he didn't know. Nyla had appeared in his life like a comet, brief, brilliant, devastating. He couldn't imagine going back to the loneliness that had defined his existence before her. I don't want to walk away, he said honestly. Neither do I. They drove in comfortable silence after that, the admission hanging between them like a promise. San Francisco rose on the horizon as the sun began its descent, a city of bridges and fog, beauty hiding desperate poverty. David Park lived in Pacific Heights, a wealthy neighborhood where tech money insulated residents from the reality of the streets below. They parked 3 blocks from Park's address and approached on foot, weapons concealed under jackets. Park's house was a Victorian mansion worth $8 million. Security cameras covered every angle. The lights were on. Adrian rang the doorbell. No answer. He rang again, and this time a voice crackled through the intercom. Go away. David, it's Adrian Vance. We need to talk. I don't know any Adrian Vance. Yes, you do, and you know why I'm here. Let me in or I'm coming in anyway. Silence. Then the door clicked open. David Park stood in the foyer holding a shotgun. He was Korean-American, late 30s, wearing pajamas despite the late hour. His eyes were red-rimmed, exhausted. Are you here to kill me? He asked. No, we're here to warn you. About Cruz. I know, he's been sending messages, asking to meet. Did you respond? Of course not. I'm paranoid, not stupid. Park lowered the shotgun slightly. But I'm also trapped. I can't leave without him knowing, and I can't stay without eventually being found. We're going to stop him, Nyla said. Park laughed bitterly. How? Cruz has an army. You have, what, each other? Sometimes that's enough, Adrian said. Park studied them for a long moment, then lowered the shotgun completely. Come in. But if this is a trap, I'm taking you both with me. They entered the mansion. Inside, every surface was covered with computer equipment, servers, monitors, keyboards. Park had turned his home into a fortress of information. I've been tracking Cruz's communications, Park said, pulling up data on multiple screens. He's not just taking over your network, Adrian. He's expanding it, building something bigger. Show me, Adrian said. Park typed rapidly, pulling up maps, transaction records, organizational charts. Cruz is consolidating every major criminal network on the West Coast. Drugs, weapons, human trafficking, money laundering. He's creating a monopoly. Why? Nyla asked. Power, control, but also… Park hesitated. I think he's working with someone bigger, someone outside the cartel world. Who? I don't know. The communications are too encrypted, even for me. But there's money flowing in from offshore accounts, legitimate money, the kind that comes from corporations or governments. Adrian felt ice settle in his stomach. If Cruz had backing from legitimate power structures, this war was bigger than he'd imagined. Can you trace the money? Adrian asked. I've been trying, but whoever's funding Cruz knows how to hide their tracks. Park pulled up another screen. There's something else. Cruz has been moving shipments through the port of LA. Heavy equipment, military grade. What kind of equipment? Encrypted communications gear, surveillance tech, the kind of stuff governments use. Nyla and Adrian exchanged a glance. He's not just building a criminal empire, Nyla said slowly. He's building an intelligence network. For what purpose? Adrian asked. That's the question, Park said, and I don't have the answer. They spent hours analyzing data, tracing connections, building a picture of Cruz's operation. By midnight, Adrian's head was pounding, but they had something. A pattern. Cruz was moving his most valuable assets to a single location, the compound in Tijuana. That's where we hit him, Adrian said. Park looked at him like he'd lost his mind. That compound is a fortress. You'll die before you get through the front gate. Maybe, Nyla said, or maybe we don't go through the front gate. She pulled up satellite imagery of the compound, studying the layout. There, she said, pointing. Tunnel entrance. Reyes said Cruz uses tunnels for smuggling. If we can access the tunnel network, we can get inside without being detected. And then what? Park asked. Then we end this, Adrian said, one way or another. Or Park uploaded the satellite imagery to a secure drive, his fingers trembling as he worked. You're both insane, you know that, right? Probably, Nyla said, studying the compound layout with the focus of someone planning a surgical strike. But insanity's kept us alive this long. Adrian's phone buzzed. Elena. His heart jumped into his throat as he answered. Adrian. Her voice was tight with controlled panic. There's someone outside, black SUV. It's been sitting across the street for the past 20 minutes. Have they approached the house? No, but they're watching. I can see them through the curtains. Adrian's mind raced. Cruz had found the safe house. Of course he had. Vincent would have known about all of Adrian's properties, would have given up every location before they killed him. Listen to me very carefully, Adrian said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding his system. Go to the basement. There's a hidden panel behind the water heater. Push it, and you'll find a tunnel that leads 3 blocks east to a storage facility. The code is 7428. Inside locker 17 is $10,000 in cash, a burner phone, and car keys. Take them and drive to the address I'm about to text you. Don't stop. Don't look back. Adrian, do it now, Elena. We're 2 hours away. I can't protect you from here. He heard her breathing, fast and shallow. Then, okay, I love you. I love you too. Now go. The line went dead. Adrian turned to Nyla. We need to leave, now. What happened? They found the safe house. Elena's running. Park looked between them. Where will she go? Adrian was already typing an address into his phone. A motel in Riverside. One of a dozen emergency locations he'd established years ago. Somewhere safe, I hope. They left Park's mansion at a run, reaching the Audi in 90 seconds. Nyla drove, pushing the car hard through San Francisco's streets, heading for the 101 South. She'll be okay, Nyla said, weaving through traffic. She's smart, and she's got your survival instincts. She's 26 years old and terrified. She's also tougher than you think. Nyla glanced at him. You heard how she stood up to you back at the house. That's not weakness. That's strength. Adrian wanted to believe her, but the image of Elena tied to that chair, Cruz's knife against her face, kept replaying in his mind. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered, already knowing who it would be. Adrian, Mateo Cruz's voice was smooth, almost friendly. We need to talk. We have nothing to discuss. Oh, I think we do. You see, I just sent some men to your Pasadena safe house, but your sister's already gone. Clever girl. I respect that. Adrian's knuckles went white on the phone. If you touch her, you'll what? Kill me? You've been trying to do that for days. Cruz laughed. No, Adrian, I'm not interested in hurting your sister anymore. I'm interested in making a deal. What kind of deal? The smart kind. The kind where we both walk away alive. Cruz's tone shifted, becoming businesslike. You've been a thorn in my side, but I've come to realize you're more valuable as an asset than a corpse. Your network, your contacts, your expertise, I need those things. Work for me and I'll leave your sister alone. Refuse, and I'll make sure she suffers in ways that will haunt you until the day you die. You're asking me to surrender my entire operation. I'm asking you to evolve. The world's changing, Adrian. The old way of doing business, independent operators, territorial disputes, that's dying. The future belongs to consolidation, to empire. Join me, and you'll be part of something bigger than yourself. And if I refuse, then you'll watch everything you love burn, starting with Elena. The line went dead. Adrian sat in silence, rage and helplessness warring in his chest. Cruz had cornered him perfectly. Every move, every option led to the same conclusion: surrender or lose everything. What did he say? Neela asked. Adrian repeated the conversation. Nyla's expression hardened. He's bluffing. He doesn't know where Elena is. He'll find her. He found the safe house. Because Vincent knew about it. But this motel in Riverside, did Vincent know about that? Adrian thought. No, I set it up 6 months ago, after Vincent was already in place. Then Elena's safe. For now. Nyla took an exit, heading for a gas station. We need to regroup, figure out our next move. Our next move is obvious. We take the fight to Cruz, the compound in Tijuana. That's suicide. It's the only way to end this. Adrian's voice was cold, final. He has my network. He has my clients. He's threatened my sister. The only thing I have left is the ability to hurt him back. Nyla pulled into the gas station, parked away from the pumps, and turned to face him. Listen to me. I've done enough suicide missions to know what they look like. And this, charging into a fortified compound to kill a cartel leader, this is textbook suicide. Then what do you suggest? We use his weakness, his daughter. We grab her, use her as leverage to get Cruz out in the open. Then we kill him. Adrian shook his head. I won't do that. I won't make his daughter pay for his choices. Why not? He made your sister pay for yours. Because that's the line I won't cross. The moment I start hurting innocent people to achieve my goals, I become exactly what I've been running from. Nyla studied him for a long moment. You're a better man than you think you are. Or just a weaker one. There's a difference. She leaned back against the seat. Fine. No daughter. But then we need another angle, something Cruz won't see coming. Adrian's mind churned through possibilities. Then it hit him. Isabella Cortez, he said. Cruz's lieutenant? Reyes said she used to be a federal agent, that she turned for money. Adrian pulled out his phone, started searching through encrypted databases. People who turn once can be turned again, especially if the price is right. You want to flip her? I want to offer her something Cruz can't. Immunity, protection, a way out. If we can get her to betray Cruz, give us access to the compound. It could work, Nyla said slowly. But approach her wrong, and she'll warn Cruz. Then we're dead. So we approach her right. Adrian found what he was looking for, a dossier on Isabella Cortez, former Mexican federal police, decorated officer specializing in organized crime. Then, 3 years ago, she disappeared from official records, resurfaced 6 months later working for Cruz. The file included a photo. She was in her early 40s, sharp-eyed, with the bearing of someone who'd seen combat and survived. She has a daughter, Adrian said, reading deeper. 8 years old. Lives with Isabella's mother in Guadalajara. Families of vulnerability, Nyla said. If Cruz threatened them, then she'd do anything to protect them, just like I would for Elena. Adrian looked at Nyla. What if we offer her the same thing, protection for her family, in exchange for helping us take down Cruz? How do we even contact her? Park. Adrian dialed the number. Park answered on the second ring. Tell me you're not dead, Park said. Not yet. I need you to find someone for me. Isabella Cortez, she's Cruz's second in command. I need her phone number, her location, any way to reach her directly. That's going to take time. Her communications are encrypted at levels I've never seen. How much time? 6 hours. Maybe more. You have 3. And Park, this information doesn't leave you. If Cruz finds out we're trying to flip Cortez, we're all dead. Understood. Adrian ended the call. They drove through the night, heading back toward Los Angeles. The city appeared on the horizon around 3 in the morning, a sprawl of lights that never slept. Adrian's phone buzzed. Elena. I'm at the motel, she said. Room 23. There's a family next door arguing, and the bed smells like cigarettes, but I'm alive. Relief flooded through him. Stay there. Don't leave for any reason. How long? I don't know. A day, maybe 2. Adrian, what are we going to do? Even if you stop Cruz, there will be others. This war doesn't end. She was right. Kill Cruz, and someone else would rise to fill the vacuum. The cycle was endless, fed by money and power and the willingness to do violence. I'm working on it, Adrian said. Trust me. I do. That's what scares me. After she hung up, Nyla spoke. She's right, killing Cruz solves the immediate problem. But the larger issue, the network, the clients, the infrastructure, that remains. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting you think about what happens after. If you really want out, you need to dismantle everything. Burn it to the ground so thoroughly that no one can rebuild. That would destroy years of work. Exactly. Nyla's eyes held his. You said you wanted a different path. This is what that looks like. Complete destruction of the old life to make room for the new. Adrian thought about it. His network represented a decade of careful construction, relationships built on mutual benefit and fear. Destroying it would mean betraying clients, breaking promises, walking away from millions in assets. It would also mean freedom. After Cruz is dead, Adrian said slowly, I'll burn it all. Every server, every account, every contact. I'll salt the earth so nothing grows back. And then? Then I figure out who I am without it. Nyla nodded. Good. They reached a different safe house. This one in Long Beach, a condo Adrian owned through a shell corporation Park had set up. It was clean, secure, and most importantly, unknown to Vincent. Inside, they collapsed onto the couch, exhaustion finally catching up to them. Neither had slept more than a few hours in the past 2 days. You should rest, Nyla said. I'll keep watch. We both need sleep. I'm trained to function on no sleep. You're not. Adrian was too tired to argue. He closed his eyes, and within minutes, darkness claimed him. He dreamed of fire, of the compound in Tijuana burning, Cruz screaming, Elena running through smoke, and in the center of it all, Nyla, standing calm and untouched, a weapon in each hand. He woke to Nyla shaking his shoulder. Park called. He's got Cortez's number. Adrian sat up, shaking off the dream. What time is it? 7 a.m. You slept for 4 hours. His phone showed 3 missed calls from Park. He dialed back. I found her, Park said without preamble. Isabella Cortez. She's using encrypted communications, but I managed to trace her physical location. She's in San Diego, meeting with someone at a restaurant called Casa Rivera. When? Noon today. Reservation under the name Maria Santos. Adrian checked his watch. 5 hours. Who's she meeting? Can't tell, but whoever it is, they're important. She changed her security protocols for this meeting. Send me the address. Already did. Adrian, be careful. If this goes wrong, Cruz will know we're coming for him. It won't go wrong. He hung up and turned to Nyla. We're going to San Diego. To do what exactly? Walk up to her in a public restaurant and ask her to betray her boss? More or less, Nyla laughed. You're either brilliant or insane. Can it be both? They prepared quickly, choosing weapons that could be concealed. Compact pistols, ankle holsters, tactical knives. Nyla wore a dress that hid body armor underneath, transforming from soldier to socialite in minutes. Adrian changed into a suit, expensive but understated. They needed to look like they belonged in an upscale restaurant, not like people planning an assassination. The drive to San Diego took 2 hours through morning traffic. Casa Rivera was in La Jolla, a coastal neighborhood where wealth whispered instead of shouted. The restaurant overlooked the ocean, all glass walls and minimalist design. They arrived at 11:30 and took a table with sightlines to the entrance. Nyla ordered wine. Adrian ordered coffee. They waited. At 11:55, Isabella Cortez walked in. She was exactly as her photo suggested, dangerous, composed, wearing authority like a second skin. She moved through the restaurant with the awareness of someone trained to spot threats, her eyes cataloging exits, identifying potential dangers. She sat at a table by the window, alone, and ordered sparkling water. Adrian watched her for 5 minutes, studying her body language. She was tense, checking her phone repeatedly, glancing at the entrance. "She's nervous," Nyla observed. "Whoever she's meeting, she doesn't trust them. Or she's being watched." At 12:07, a man entered the restaurant. White, 50s, expensive suit, military bearing. He walked directly to Isabella's table and sat without being invited. "Do you recognize him?" Nyla asked. Adrian pulled out his phone, discreetly photographed the man, ran facial recognition through Park's database. The result made his blood run cold. "James Morrison," Adrian said quietly. "Former CIA, currently works as a private contractor for various government agencies." "What's the CIA doing meeting with Cruz's lieutenant?" "That's the question." They watched the meeting unfold. Morrison did most of the talking, leaning forward, intense. Isabella listened, her expression carefully neutral. At one point, Morrison slid an envelope across the table. Isabella opened it, glanced inside, then closed it without taking it. She said something sharp. Morrison's jaw tightened. They argued briefly, then Morrison stood and left. Isabella sat alone, staring at the envelope. "Now," Adrian said. They approached her table together. Isabella's hand moved toward her purse, where Adrian assumed she kept a weapon, but Nyla's voice stopped her. "We're not here to hurt you," Nyla said in fluent Spanish. "We're here to offer you a choice." Isabella's eyes narrowed. "I don't know you." "But you know Adrian Vance," Adrian said, sitting down across from her. Nyla remained standing, positioned to intercept anyone approaching. "And you know I'm at war with your boss. Then you're a dead man." "Possibly, but before I die, I wanted to give you an opportunity." Adrian gestured to the envelope. "What did Morrison offer you? Money? Protection? A way out of Cruz's organization?" Isabella's expression didn't change, but Adrian saw the micro-adjustment in her posture. He'd guessed right. "The CIA's using you," Adrian continued. "They want Cruz's operation for themselves. They'll promise you anything, but the moment you're no longer useful, they'll burn you. That's what they do." "And you're different?" "I'm honest. I don't pretend to be righteous. I'm a criminal trying to survive, and right now, that means killing Cruz." Adrian leaned forward. "I know about your daughter, about your mother in Guadalajara. I know Cruz uses them as leverage to keep you loyal." Isabella's hand moved closer to her purse. "I can protect them," Adrian said. "Real protection. Not promises, but action. I'll move them out of Mexico, set them up in the United States with new identities, make sure Cruz can never touch them." "In exchange for what?" "Information. Access to the compound, a way inside." Isabella was silent for a long moment. Then she said, "Why would I trust you?" "Because, unlike Morrison, I'm not asking you to keep working for Cruz and spy for me. I'm asking you to walk away. Completely. Help me kill him, then disappear with your family and never look back. You can't kill Cruz. His compound is a fortress. With your help, we can." Isabella studied him, then Nyla, calculating odds. "Even if I wanted to help you, and I'm not saying I do, how would this work? You give us details about the compound, guard rotation, security systems, Cruz's location. We go in, eliminate him, get out. You provide an alibi proving you were nowhere near the compound when it happened. And my family? I have someone in San Francisco who specializes in creating new identities. He'll have your mother and daughter out of Mexico within 24 hours. New names, new documentation, a house in Arizona or New Mexico, wherever you want." Isabella picked up the envelope Morrison had left, opened it fully. Inside were photographs, her daughter playing in a schoolyard, her mother shopping at a market, surveillance photos. Morrison showed me these, Isabella said quietly. He said the CIA could make my family disappear if I didn't cooperate, that they'd be ghosts, untraceable. He was threatening you. Yes. Isabella's eyes hardened. I joined Cruz because I was tired of being poor, of watching criminals prosper while good people suffered. I thought I could make money, then leave. But there's no leaving, not while my family is vulnerable. Then take the exit I'm offering, Adrian said. Isabella looked at the ocean, waves crashing against rocks. When she spoke again, her voice was distant. Cruz is planning something big, bigger than territory or money. Morrison's people want in on it. What is it? I don't know the full details, but it involves the equipment Cruz has been importing. Communications gear, surveillance tech. He's building an intelligence network to sell information to the highest bidder. Government secrets? Everything. Corporate espionage, political leverage, military intelligence. Cruz wants to become the broker between the shadows and the powerful. And Morrison's agency wants a piece of that action. Adrian exchanged a glance with Nyla. This was bigger than a cartel war. This was infrastructure for corruption on a massive scale. Help us stop him, Adrian said. Help us tear it all down. Isabella was quiet for what felt like an eternity. Then she reached into her purse. Nyla tensed, but Isabella only pulled out a phone. She scrolled through files, found what she was looking for, and slid the phone across to Adrian. That's the compound layout, she said. Guard rotations, security codes, tunnel locations, everything you need. Adrian's heart pounded as he uploaded the files to his own device. When can you get your family out? They're already out. I moved them 2 days ago when Morrison first contacted me. They're in a safe house in Phoenix. Then you're ready to move. On one condition. Isabella's eyes were hard. When you kill Cruz, make it hurt. Make him understand what he took from all of us. I will, Adrian promised. Isabella stood, leaving the envelope and phone on the table. You have 48 hours. After that, Cruz will realize I'm gone, and everything I gave you becomes useless. She walked away without looking back. Adrian and Nyla returned to their table, Adrian's mind racing through the information Isabella had provided. The compound layout showed exactly what Reyes had described, a fortress with multiple defensive layers, guard towers, reinforced gates. But it also showed the tunnel network. And Isabella had marked a specific entry point, a drainage system 300 yards from the compound that connected to the underground smuggling roads. We can do this, Nyla said, studying the layout. It'll be ugly, but it's possible. When? Tonight. The longer we wait, the more time Cruz has to prepare. Adrian nodded. I'll call Reyes, tell him we need extraction support, and I'll contact Park, have him coordinate the diversion. What kind of diversion? The kind that makes Cruz think the real threat is somewhere else. They spent the afternoon planning every detail. Reyes agreed to provide a team to secure their exit route. Park would hack into Mexican law enforcement systems, create false reports of cartel activity on the opposite side of Tijuana to draw away Cruz's reinforcements. At 6 p.m., they crossed the border into Mexico. Tijuana was chaos incarnate. Vendors, traffic, music, poverty, and wealth existing in violent proximity. They ditched their car at a secure location Reyes had arranged and switched to a nondescript van loaded with weapons. The compound was 40 minutes outside the city, nestled in hills that overlooked the Pacific. As the sun set, painting the sky in blood reds and dying golds, Adrian felt the familiar coldness settle over him. This was it, the moment everything had been building toward. They parked the van in a ravine 2 miles from the compound and moved on foot through scrubland. Nyla led, using night vision goggles to navigate. Adrian followed, carrying enough weapons to start a small war. The drainage tunnel entrance was exactly where Isabella had marked it, a concrete pipe half buried in eroded hillside. They pried open the rusted gate and entered. Inside, the tunnel was narrow, dark, smelling of sewage and decay. Water dripped from the ceiling. Their footsteps echoed. Adrian's breathing sounded too loud in his own ears. They moved forward, following the tunnel as it sloped downward. According to Isabella's intel, this passage led directly under the compound's southern wall, emerging in a maintenance area rarely patrolled. 20 minutes of crawling through filth brought them to a ladder. Above, a metal hatch. Nyla climbed first, listening at the hatch. Silence. She pushed it open slowly. They emerged into a storage room filled with cleaning supplies and broken equipment. Empty. Adrian closed the hatch behind them and checked his weapon. Phase 1 complete, Nyla whispered. Now we find Cruz. According to the layout, Cruz's private quarters were in the main house, a 2-story structure in the compound's center. To reach it, they'd have to cross an open courtyard monitored by cameras and guards. We can't go in guns blazing, Adrian said. We need a distraction. Nyla smiled. I brought party favors. She pulled out 2 devices from her pack, remote detonated flashbangs. Plant these in the garage, set them on a timer. When they blow, guards will rush to investigate. That gives us a window. How long a window? 3 minutes? Maybe 4? That's not much time. It's enough. They moved through the compound service areas, staying low, using shadows for concealment. Twice they had to hide as guards passed, bored men smoking cigarettes, complaining about the monotony of their shifts. They reached the garage, a massive structure housing Cruz's collection of luxury vehicles. Nyla planted the flashbangs under 2 cars, set the timer for 5 minutes, and they retreated to a position with eyes on the main house. Adrian's watch counted down. 5 minutes. 4. 3. At the 2-minute mark, his phone vibrated. A text from Elena. Someone's outside the motel. Different SUV. I'm scared. Adrian's heart stopped. Cruz had found her. We have to abort, he said to Nyla. Elena's compromised. We're 60 seconds from the diversion. If we abort now, we'll never get another chance. I don't care. My sister... The flashbangs detonated. The explosions were deafening, lighting up the night. Alarms shrieked. Guards poured out of buildings, running toward the garage, shouting into radios. Move! Nyla hissed. Adrian hesitated, torn between the mission and his sister. Then Nyla grabbed his arm. Trust me. We do this fast. Kill Cruz, get out. Then we save Elena. But if we leave now, Cruz survives, and Elena stays in danger forever. She was right. Adrian knew she was right. He ran. They crossed the courtyard in the chaos, reaching the main house through a side entrance. Inside, the architecture was opulent. Marble floors, artwork, wealth accumulated through blood and suffering. Nyla moved like a ghost, clearing rooms with practiced efficiency. They found Cruz's office on the 2nd floor, empty. His bedroom, empty. Where is he? Adrian growled. Nyla checked her phone, pulling up the compound layout. There. Basement level. Panic room. Of course. Cruz had heard the explosions and gone to ground. They descended stairs into the compound's lower levels, weapons raised. The basement was a maze of concrete corridors, reinforced doors, the architecture of paranoia. The panic room was at the end of a long hallway. Steel door, biometric lock, camera coverage. He's in there, Nyla said, and he knows we're here. As if on cue, speakers crackled to life. Cruz's voice filled the corridor. Adrian, I'm impressed. I didn't think you had the courage to come here. Open the door, Cruz. Or what? You'll break through 6 inches of reinforced steel? That door is designed to withstand explosives. You'll die of old age before you breach it. Then I'll wait. Eventually you have to come out. Do I? I have food, water, communications. I can call reinforcements right now. In 10 minutes, 50 of my men will arrive and you'll be trapped. Adrian looked at Nyla. She pulled out a small device, a signal jammer. Actually, she said into the air, you can't call anyone. We're jamming all communications. You're alone in there, Cruz, and we have time. Silence from the speakers. Then, what do you want? You know what I want, Adrian said. You threatened my sister. You killed my people. You tried to steal everything I built. Business. Nothing personal. It became personal when you made it about family. More silence. Then the sound of locks disengaging. The steel door swung open slowly. Cruz stood in the doorway, alone, holding a pistol loosely at his side. I'm unarmed, he said, setting the gun on the floor and kicking it away. You want me? Come take me. Adrian raised his weapon, sighting center mass. One squeeze of the trigger, and this ended. But something felt wrong. "It's a trap," Nyla said quietly. "I know." Cruz smiled. "Smart woman. Yes, it's a trap. But not for you, Adrian. For her." He gestured behind them. Adrian and Nyla spun. The hallway was suddenly filled with armed men, 20, maybe more, weapons trained on them from every angle. "You see," Cruz said calmly, "Isabella told me everything, about your meeting, about the information she gave you. She's been mine from the beginning." Adrian's world tilted. "You're lying." "Am I? Why do you think I let you get this far?" "Because I wanted you here, in my compound, trapped. Isabella played her part perfectly." Neela's finger tightened on her trigger, but Cruz raised a hand. "Don't. The moment you fire, my men open up. You'll kill me, but you'll both die. Is that really the outcome you want?" Adrian's mind raced. If Isabella had betrayed them, then everything was compromised. Elena's location, Reyes's support, Park's involvement, all of it. "Lower your weapons," Cruz said, "and we'll talk like civilized people." Adrian didn't move. Nyla did, lowering her rifle slowly. "He's right. We die here. Elena dies next." Adrian wanted to refuse, to fight, to go down in fire, but the image of his sister, alone in that motel, stopped him. He lowered his weapon. Cruz smiled. "Excellent. Now, let's discuss terms." Cruz's smile was the smile of a man who'd orchestrated a symphony of violence and watched it play out exactly as composed. He gestured toward the panic room behind him, an invitation wrapped in threat. "Please, come inside. Your weapons won't help you out there, but in here we can at least speak honestly." Adrian and Nyla exchanged a glance. 20 rifles trained on them from the hallway. No cover, no escape route. The only choice was forward into Cruz's trap or backward into certain death. They walked into the panic room. The space was larger than expected, 15 by 20 feet, lined with monitors showing every angle of the compound. A desk held communications equipment, files, and a bottle of expensive tequila. Cruz closed the steel door behind them, and the locks engaged with a sound like a tomb ceiling. "Sit," Cruz said, gesturing to chairs. Neither Adrian nor Nyla moved. Cruz shrugged and poured himself a drink. "Suit yourselves. But you should know, Isabella didn't betray you completely. She gave you real information. The tunnel entrance, the layout, the guard rotations, all accurate." "Then why are we surrounded?" Adrian asked. "Because I told her to. Because I wanted you here." Cruz took a sip of tequila, savoring it. "You see, Adrian, you've become inconvenient, but you're also talented, resourceful, the kind of man I could use in my organization. So I engineered a scenario where you'd come to me, where we could have this conversation without all the posturing and violence. You killed Vincent. You kidnapped my sister. Regrettable necessities. Vincent was leaking information. I merely accelerated his timeline. And Elena, well, I needed leverage. But she's alive, unharmed. That counts for something." "Where is she?" The words came out like broken glass. "Safe. For now. My people are watching the motel in Riverside. One phone call from me and they either leave her alone or they don't. Your choice." Nyla's voice was ice. "What do you want?" "Partnership. Adrian's network combined with my distribution, his expertise with my resources. Together we could control every major criminal enterprise on the West Coast." "And if I refuse?" Adrian asked. "Then Elena dies. Painfully. And you watch it happen on these monitors before my men kill you both." Cruz set down his glass. "But I don't think you'll refuse, because despite everything, you're a pragmatist. You understand that survival sometimes requires compromise." Adrian's hands clenched into fists. Every instinct screamed to attack, to kill Cruz with his bare hands. But Nyla's earlier words echoed in his mind, precision over fury, strategy over emotion. "How do I know you'll keep your word?" Adrian asked. "How do I know you won't kill Elena anyway?" "You don't, but consider this. I gain nothing from killing her. Dead, she's worthless. Alive, she's leverage that keeps you obedient. I'm a businessman, Adrian. I make decisions based on profit, not emotion. You're a psychopath. Perhaps, but I'm a wealthy, powerful psychopath who's offering you a chance to survive. Cruz leaned forward. I know about your operation with Morrison. I know the CIA wants access to my intelligence network. But they don't get to dictate terms. I do. And with you managing the technical side, we become untouchable. Adrian's mind raced, searching for angles, for leverage, for anything that could shift the balance. Then it hit him. You don't have the encryption device, he said. Cruz's expression flickered, just for a moment, but it was enough. What? The device Marcus brought to the restaurant. You said your men took it, but they didn't, did they? It was destroyed in the firefight. Cruz's silence was confirmation. Without it, Adrian continued, you can't decrypt my network. You can't access my client list or impersonate me effectively. That's why you need me alive, not for partnership, because I'm the only one who can give you access to what you stole. Cruz's eyes hardened. Clever. But it doesn't change your situation. With or without the device, I control Elena's fate. Do you? Nyla said quietly. Cruz turned to her. Excuse me? You said your people are watching the motel, but how do you know Elena's still there? How do you know she didn't run the moment she saw the SUV? Adrian understood what Nyla was doing, creating doubt, forcing Cruz to verify his leverage. And if Cruz reached for his phone, if he tried to contact his people. The signal jammer was still active. Cruz reached for the phone on his desk. His fingers froze halfway. He looked at the device in Nyla's pocket, the small black box still blinking green. You're jamming communications, he said softly, which means I can't call my people, and they can't call me. That's right, Nyla said. So, for all you know, Elena's gone. Or maybe Reyes sent a team to extract her. Or maybe she's already across the border. You're blind, Cruz, just like us. Cruz's composure cracked slightly. He moved to one of the monitors, cycled through camera feeds. The compound, the garage, the gates. Everything internal, nothing external. You're bluffing, he said. Maybe, Adrian said. Or maybe while you were busy setting this trap, we were setting one of our own. It was a lie. They had no backup plan, no extraction team waiting for Elena, but Cruz didn't know that. And doubt was a weapon as sharp as any blade. Cruz stared at them for a long moment. Then he smiled, a different smile now, edged with genuine respect. You're good, both of you. Under different circumstances, we could have been partners. He moved to the desk, opened a drawer. But circumstances are what they are. He pulled out a tablet, started typing. What are you doing? Adrian asked. Calling your bluff. Cruz turned the screen toward them. It showed a live feed, grainy, but clear enough. The motel in Riverside, room 23. The door opening. Elena stepped out, looking around nervously. Two men approached her from the shadows. Adrian's heart stopped. You see, Cruz said, I don't rely solely on phone communications. This is a satellite uplink. Your jammer is useless against it. He typed a command, and the two men on screen moved closer to Elena. Stop, Adrian said. Give me one good reason. I'll give you access to everything, the network, the clients, the encryption protocols, all of it. Just leave her alone. Cruz considered. That's a start, but I need more than promises. What do you want? Proof of loyalty, something that binds you to me so completely that betrayal becomes impossible. I'm not killing anyone for you. I'm not asking you to kill. I'm asking you to burn. Cruz pulled up another screen, security footage from multiple locations. These are your remaining safe houses, your backup servers, your emergency caches of money and weapons. I want you to destroy them, all of them, personally. That would leave me with nothing. Exactly. You'd be dependent on me for everything, protection, resources, identity. You'd have no choice but to be loyal. Adrian looked at the screen showing Elena. The two men were standing close now, waiting for orders. Fine, Adrian said. I'll do it, but you let Elena go first. You're not in a position to negotiate. Neither are you. Adrian's voice was cold. You need my cooperation. You need me functional, not broken by watching my sister die. So here's the deal. You release Elena, give her a 12-hour head start, and I'll destroy everything. Then we talk partnership. Cruz studied him, calculating. How do I know you won't run the moment your sister's safe? Because running means rebuilding from nothing. And I'm tired. Tired of fighting, tired of looking over my shoulder, tired of wars that never end. Adrian met Cruz's eyes. You want loyalty through leverage? Fine, but leverage works both ways. You keep Elena alive, I keep you wealthy. We both get what we want. The room fell silent except for the hum of electronics. Finally, Cruz nodded. 12 hours. But she doesn't leave the country, and I keep people watching her. If you betray me, she dies. Understood. Cruz typed commands into the tablet. On screen, the two men backed away from Elena. She looked confused, frightened, but alive. It's done, Cruz said. She's free to go, for now. Adrian felt relief and rage warring in his chest. Elena was alive, but he'd just surrendered everything he'd built to keep her that way. Now, Cruz said, let's discuss how this partnership works. For the next hour, they negotiated details. Adrian would maintain his network but report all activities to Cruz. Profits would be split 70-30 in Cruz's favor. Adrian would have operational independence, but ultimate strategic control rested with Cruz. It was surrender dressed up as collaboration. Nayla remained silent throughout, her expression unreadable. Adrian wondered what she was thinking, whether she despised him for capitulating, whether she understood he'd had no choice. When the negotiations concluded, Cruz opened the panic room door. His men were still in the hallway, weapons lowered but ready. You're free to go, Cruz said. Return to Los Angeles, begin dismantling your safe houses. I'll send Isabella to verify your compliance. Where is she? Adrian asked. Nearby, watching, making sure you don't do anything foolish. They walked through the compound in silence, escorted by armed guards. The sun was rising as they exited through the main gate, painting the hills in shades of gold and amber. The van they'd arrived in was gone, confiscated or destroyed. Instead, a black SUV waited with a driver. Your transportation, one of Cruz's men said. Straight to the border. Don't stop. They climbed into the SUV. The driver said nothing, just started the engine and pulled onto the dirt road leading away from the compound. Adrian stared out the window, numb. Everything he'd fought for, destroyed. Everything he'd built, surrendered. And for what? A temporary reprieve that could end the moment Cruz decided he was no longer useful. That was smart, Nyla said quietly. What you did in there? Smart? I gave him everything. No, you gave him what he thought he wanted. There's a difference. She kept her voice low, aware the driver might be listening. He thinks he owns you now. That makes him complacent. What are you saying? I'm saying we play along until we find an opening, then we burn him down. With what resources? I just agreed to destroy everything I have. Not everything. Nyla pulled out her phone, showed him an encrypted message from Park. While you were negotiating, I sent Park a coded signal. He's already moving your most critical data to offshore servers Cruz doesn't know about. The backups have backups. Adrian stared at her. When Cruz was focused on the tablet showing Elena, I keyed in the message one-handed. She smiled slightly. Delta teaches you to multitask. Hope, fragile but real, kindled in Adrian's chest. So we're not completely destroyed. Not even close. We just convinced Cruz we are. They crossed back into the United States at dawn, the driver dropping them at a parking lot in San Isidro. Their original car was there, keys under the floor mat, Cruz being thorough even in release. Adrian drove, pushing north toward Los Angeles. His phone buzzed repeatedly. Messages from Park, from Reyes, from contacts wondering what had happened. He ignored them all except one. Elena. I'm okay, her text read. Those men left. I don't understand what's happening, but I'm getting in the car and driving. Where should I go? Adrian typed a response. Etsa. Head to Reyes's location. He'll protect you. I'll explain everything soon. I love you. 3 dots appeared. Then, I love you too. Please be careful. They reached the Long Beach safe house by mid-morning. Inside, Adrian collapsed onto the couch, exhaustion finally overwhelming him. We should sleep, Nyla said. 4 hours, then we plan our next move. How can you sleep after that? Because tomorrow we go to war for real, and I need to be sharp. She sat beside him. You did the right thing, Adrian. Buying time, protecting Elena. Now we use that time to prepare. Prepare for what? Cruz has us pinned. Any move we make, he'll see coming. Not if we change the game. Nyla pulled up the files Isabella had provided. Look, Cruz thinks he controls all the variables, but he doesn't know about Park's offshore servers. He doesn't know Reyes is still with us, and he definitely doesn't know about Morrison. Morrison's working with Cruz. Is he? Or is he working with whoever pays the most? Neela's eyes gleamed. The CIA wants Cruz's intelligence network. What if we offer them a better deal? Adrian saw where she was going. We give Morrison everything he wants, full access to Cruz's operation in exchange for protection, resources, and most importantly, permission to eliminate Cruz without legal consequences. The CIA doesn't work like that. They won't just sanction a hit for us. They will if we make it worth their while. If we give them not just Cruz's network, but evidence of his connections to other cartels, his plans for expansion, his client list. Nyla leaned forward. We turn Cruz into a national security threat. Then Morrison's agency can justify eliminating him as counterterrorism. It was brilliant and terrible, using the same forces that enabled men like Cruz to destroy him. How do we contact Morrison? Adrian asked. Isabella gave us his information. We reach out, set up a meeting, make our pitch. And if he refuses, then we find another way. But Adrian, we can't keep fighting defensively. We need to take the offensive, hit Cruz where he's vulnerable. Where's that? His daughter. Adrian shook his head immediately. No, I told you, I'm not suggesting we hurt her. I'm suggesting we use her as bait. Nyla pulled up information on Cruz's daughter, Sofia, 15, attending private school in San Diego under the name Sofia Mendez. We don't touch her. We just make Cruz think we might. Force him to choose between protecting her and protecting his operation. That's still crossing a line. Adrian, he kidnapped your sister. He tortured Vincent. He's killed dozens of people in pursuit of power. At what point do we stop holding ourselves to standards he abandoned years ago? Adrian wanted to argue, to insist there were lines that couldn't be crossed. But Nyla was right. In war, morality was a luxury combatants couldn't afford. If we do this, he said slowly, we do it my way. We surveil Sofia, document her movements, create the appearance of a threat. But we never actually put her in danger. Agreed. They spent the afternoon planning, coordinating with Park to gather intelligence on Morrison's movements and Sofia's schedule. By evening, they had a framework. Morrison would be in Los Angeles tomorrow, meeting with federal contacts. They'd intercept him there, make their pitch. Simultaneously, they'd begin surveillance on Sofia, letting Cruz's security see them watching. The psychological pressure would force Cruz to divide his attention, weaken his position. It was a dangerous gambit, but it was all they had. Adrian's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him accept the call. Adrian, Isabella Cortez's voice. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Then listen. Cruz is planning to move against your sister tonight. He's decided she's too much of a liability. Adrian's blood turned to ice. You're lying. I'm not. He doesn't trust that you'll comply. He's sending a team to Reyes's location in 2 hours. Why are you telling me this? Because Cruz double-crossed me too. He promised my family protection. Instead, he's holding them hostage to ensure my loyalty, just like he's doing with you. If this is another trap, it's not. I'm done playing his games. Meet me at the address I'm texting you. 1 hour. Come alone or don't come at all. But if you want to save Elena, you'll be there. The line went dead. Adrian showed Nyla the message. It's a trap. Probably, but what if it's not? Nyla checked her weapons. We can't ignore it. She said, come alone. Then I'll follow at a distance. You meet her, I provide overwatch. If it's a trap, I extract you. The address Isabella sent was a warehouse in Carson, industrial area, mostly abandoned. Adrian drove there in twilight, every sense alert for ambush. The warehouse was dark, empty. He parked outside, walked to the entrance with his hand on his concealed pistol. Inside, Isabella's voice called from the darkness. Adrian entered. The interior was vast, lit by a single overhead light. Isabella stood beneath it, alone. No guards, no backup visible. You came, she said. I'm here. Talk. Cruz plans to kill Elena at midnight. He's already sent the team. 4 men, heavily armed, with orders to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Why are you warning me? Because I'm tired of being used. By Cruz, by Morrison, by everyone who thinks loyalty can be bought and sold. Isabella stepped closer. I want out. For real this time. And I think you can help me. How? By killing Cruz. Not negotiating, not compromising. Killing him. Her eyes were hard. I'll give you everything you need. His schedule, his security details. When he's most vulnerable. In exchange, you get me and my family out of this life. New identities, clean break, no looking back. Last time you offered me information, it was a trap. Last time, I was still hoping Cruz would keep his promises. Now I know better. She pulled out a phone, showed him messages, death threats against her family, orders to eliminate her once she'd served her purpose. He's going to kill me anyway, so I'm choosing to go down fighting. Adrian studied her. Every instinct screamed trap, but desperation in her voice sounded real. If I agree, he said, you help me save Elena first, tonight. Deal. But we move now. Reyes's location is 30 minutes from here. Adrian texted Nyla. Real. Moving to extract Elena. Provide support. The response came immediately. On your 6. They took Isabella's car, a nondescript sedan that wouldn't draw attention. As they drove, she detailed Cruz's plan. 4 men, arriving at Reyes' garage at midnight. They'd breach fast, kill everyone inside, make it look like a rival gang attack. How do we stop them? Adrian asked. By being there first, by turning their ambush into ours. They reached Boyle Heights at 11:30. Isabella parked 3 blocks from Reyes's garage, and they approached on foot. Nyla materialized from shadows, silent as a ghost. I scouted the perimeter. Reyes has 8 men on duty. Elena's inside, 2nd floor. Cruz's team? Adrian asked. Not here yet. But they will be. They entered through the back entrance. Reyes met them, armed and alert. Adrian, you bring trouble to my door again. Cruz is sending a hit squad, midnight, 4 men. Reyes's expression didn't change. How many do you have? 3 of us, plus your 8. 11 against 4, I like those odds. They spent the next 20 minutes preparing. Reyes's men took positions covering all entrances. Nyla set up on the roof with a sniper rifle. Adrian and Isabella stayed with Elena on the 2nd floor. Elena looked exhausted, terrified. What's happening? Cruz sent people to hurt you. We're going to stop them. How many times are we going to do this? How many times do I have to run? 1 more time, Adrian promised. After tonight, this ends. At 11:58, the first SUV pulled up outside. 4 men exited, armed with automatic weapons. They moved with military precision toward the garage entrance. They never saw Nyla. Her first shot dropped the lead man. The second shot took the driver. The remaining 2 scattered, seeking cover behind the SUV. Reyes's men opened fire from inside the garage. The ambush became a kill box. Cruz's men were caught in crossfire, pinned with nowhere to run. It was over in 30 seconds. 4 bodies. No survivors. Adrian descended to the garage floor, Isabella beside him. Nyla climbed down from her position, checking the bodies. Clean work, she said. Reyes approached, surveying the carnage. Cruz will retaliate. This was a statement. Let him come, Adrian said. We're done hiding. His phone buzzed. Cruz. You killed my men, Cruz said, voice cold. You tried to kill my sister. This is war now, Adrian. No more negotiations, no more mercy. Good, because I'm done playing by your rules. You have 48 hours, then I erase everything you love, starting with Elena, then Nyla, then everyone who's ever helped you. Or, Adrian said, I erase you first. He hung up. Isabella looked at him. You understand what you just did? I declared war. Cruz has armies, resources. What do you have? Adrian looked at Nyla, at Reyes, at the loyal men who'd risked their lives tonight. Enough, he said. Nyla stepped forward. We hit him tomorrow, the compound. No more reconnaissance, no more planning. We go in with everything we have, and we don't stop until he's dead. That's suicide, Isabella said. Maybe, but it's better than slow death by 1,000 cuts. Nyla turned to Adrian. Are you with me? Adrian thought of Elena cowering upstairs, of Vincent tortured and murdered, of every choice that had led him to this moment. I'm with you, he said. All the way to the end. Reyes cracked his knuckles. You'll need more weapons. And more men. Can you provide them? I can provide an army if the price is right. Name it. Survival. If we're going to war with Cruz, I want to make sure I come out the other side alive. Deal. They spent the night planning the assault. Reyes called in favors, assembled a team of 20 men, mercenaries, former soldiers, criminals with nothing to lose. Nyla coordinated strategy, using Isabella's intelligence to identify weak points in the compound's defenses. By dawn, they were ready. 23 fighters, enough weapons to start a small war, and a plan that depended on speed, violence, and absolute commitment. Adrian pulled Elena aside before they left. You're staying here. Reyes is leaving 5 men to protect you. Adrian, please don't do this. I have to. Cruz won't stop. The only way you're safe is if he's dead. Then let someone else kill him. Run away with me. We can disappear, start over somewhere Cruz can't find us. There's nowhere he can't find us. Not while he's alive. Adrian hugged her. If I don't come back, don't say that. If I don't come back, there's money in accounts Park knows about. Enough for you to live comfortably forever. Promise me you'll use it. Promise me you'll build a life. Elena was crying. I promise. But you have to promise me you'll come back. I'll try. That's not good enough. It's all I have. He kissed her forehead and walked away before his resolve broke. The convoy rolled out at 7 a.m., 4 SUVs loaded with weapons and fighters. Nyla drove the lead vehicle, Adrian beside her, Isabella in back providing directions. The drive to Tijuana took 2 hours. They crossed the border using fake documents Reyes had provided, bribing guards who asked no questions. The compound appeared on the horizon at 9:15, a fortress of concrete and steel, surrounded by walls topped with razor wire. This is it, Nyla said. Last chance to turn back. Adrian checked his weapons. We don't turn back. We go through. Reyes, in the second vehicle, radioed ahead. All teams ready. On your signal. Nyla accelerated, the other vehicles matching her speed. 3, she counted. 2, 1. They crashed through the compound's front gate. The gate exploded inward, steel and concrete fragmenting under the impact of the reinforced SUV. Alarms shrieked across the compound as Nyla punched through the debris field, tires smoking on the courtyard pavement. Behind them, 3 more vehicles poured through the breach like a flood breaking a dam. Gunfire erupted immediately. Cruz's guards opened up from towers, from windows, from behind parked vehicles. Bullets hammered the SUVs, spidering windshields, punching through doors. Nyla swerved hard right, using a fountain for cover as Reyes's teams deployed. Adrian kicked open his door and rolled out, coming up firing. His first burst took down 2 guards rushing from a building entrance. Beside him, Isabella moved with deadly precision, her shots controlled and accurate despite the chaos. Nyla had positioned herself behind the SUV's engine block, providing covering fire as Reyes's men spread out in tactical formation. 23 fighters against what looked like 40 defenders, but the element of surprise had given them the critical first seconds. Main house, Adrian shouted over the gunfire. Cruz will be in the panic room. Then we fight through. Nyla dropped a guard who'd appeared on a second-floor balcony, then sprinted toward the main house entrance. Adrian followed, Isabella on his flank. They reached the front door as it burst open from inside. 6 guards poured out, weapons blazing. Adrian dove behind a marble planter as bullets chewed the stone. Nyla took 3 of them down with precise headshots before her magazine ran dry. She dropped the rifle, drew her sidearm in a fluid motion, and continued firing. Isabella threw a flashbang. The device detonated with blinding light and concussive force. In the confusion, Adrian charged forward, shooting 2 disoriented guards at point-blank range. The remaining man tried to surrender, hands raised, but Isabella put 2 rounds in his chest. No prisoners, she said coldly. Not today. They entered the main house. The opulent interior Adrian remembered was now a war zone. Artwork shattered by gunfire, marble floors slick with blood, smoke beginning to fill the corridors. Basement level! Isabella led them to the stairwell they'd descended before. But this time, they weren't walking into a trap. They were the trap. Behind them, the sound of battle raged. Reyes's voice came through on the radio. "We've secured the courtyard, taking heavy fire from the east wing, but we're holding." "Keep them off our backs," Nyla responded. "We're going for Cruz." They descended into the basement corridor. Empty. Too empty. Adrian's instincts screamed warning. "He knows we're here," Adrian said. "Of course he does." Isabella moved forward, weapon raised. "The question is whether he runs or fights." They reached the panic room. The steel door was closed, locked, exactly as before. But this time, no cameras watched them. No speakers crackled with Cruz's voice. Nyla examined the door. "We'll never breach this conventionally. We need explosives." "I brought some." Isabella pulled a shaped charge from her pack, military grade, designed to cut through reinforced barriers. She positioned it against the door's locking mechanism, set the timer for 30 seconds. They retreated around the corner as the charge detonated. The explosion was deafening in the enclosed space, smoke and debris filling the corridor. When it cleared, the steel door hung askew, locks destroyed. Nyla kicked it open, weapon raised. The panic room was empty. "Damn it!" Adrian searched the space frantically. The monitors were dark. The desk was cleared, no sign of Cruz. "The tunnels," Isabella said, pointing to a floor panel that had been moved. "He's running." They pried open the panel, revealing a ladder descending into darkness. Nyla went first, dropping into the tunnel with practiced efficiency. Adrian followed, with Isabella bringing up the rear. The tunnel was narrow, concrete-lined, stretching in two directions. Water dripped from the ceiling. Emergency lighting cast everything in sickly yellow. "Which way?" Adrian asked. Isabella closed her eyes, thinking. "Left leads to the garage, right leads to an exit point half a mile from the compound. If he's running, he'll go right." They went right, moving fast through the claustrophobic passage. The sound of battle faded behind them, replaced by their own breathing and the echo of boots on concrete. After 200 yards, the tunnel widened into a junction. 3 paths branched off. Nyla held up a fist. "Stop." In the center of the junction stood Mateo Cruz. He wasn't running, he was waiting, and he wasn't alone. Morrison, the CIA contractor, stood beside him, along with 4 heavily armed men in tactical gear. Black Ops. Professional killers. "Adrian," Cruz's voice was calm, almost pleasant. "I knew you'd come." "Then you know how this ends," Adrian said, raising his weapon. "Do I?" Cruz smiled. "You're outgunned, outnumbered. The only reason you're still alive is because I'm curious." "About what?" "About why you're throwing your life away for a sister who'll never forgive you, for a woman you barely know, for principles you abandoned years ago." "Some things are worth dying for." "Are they? I've never found one." Cruz glanced at Morrison. "Tell him." Morrison stepped forward. "Adrian Vance, Nyla Carter. You're both under arrest for terrorism, murder, and conspiracy against the United States." Adrian laughed. "You can't be serious." "Completely serious. Cruz here has been working with my agency for 6 months, providing intelligence on cartel operations, helping us track terrorist financing, cooperating fully with U.S. interests." Morrison's expression was stone. "You attacked a federal asset. That makes you enemies of the state." "He's a cartel leader." "He's a confidential informant under federal protection, and you just committed an act of war on Mexican soil." Morrison signaled his men. "Drop your weapons. You're coming with us." Nyla's weapon didn't waver. "We both know that's not how this ends." "No," Morrison agreed, "but I had to offer, for the record." The 4 operators raised their weapons. Adrian's mind raced, calculating odds. 3 of them against 6. In a tunnel with no cover, no escape routes. The mathematics were brutal. Then Isabella moved. She stepped between Adrian and Morrison, her weapon raised but pointing at the ground. "There's another option." "Isabella," Cruz said, voice sharp. "Stand down." "No." She met his eyes. "I'm done taking orders from you. Done being your puppet. You betray me now, your family dies. My family's already gone. I moved them 3 days ago the moment I realized you'd never keep your word. Isabella turned to Morrison. You want Cruz? I'll give him to you, everything, his network, his contacts, his plans, but not for protection, for immunity. Full immunity for everyone in this tunnel except him. Morrison considered. Why would I trust you? Because I have something you don't. Proof that Cruz has been playing both sides. Selling information to your agency while also selling it to the Russians, the Chinese, anyone who pays. She pulled a flash drive from her pocket. Communications logs, transaction records, everything you need to prove he's been compromising national security. Cruz's face went pale. You're bluffing. Am I? You taught me to keep insurance policies. I just never told you about mine. Morrison extended his hand. Give me the drive. First, the deal. Immunity for all of us, in writing. I can't authorize that in the field. Then call someone who can. Isabella's voice was steel. Because in 60 seconds, Reyes's men are going to blow this tunnel entrance and bury all of us. And that drive will be destroyed along with the only evidence you'll ever have of Cruz's betrayal. Morrison's jaw tightened. He pulled out a satellite phone, stepped away, spoke in low tones. 2 minutes later, he returned. Deal. Full immunity for you, Vance, and Carter, in exchange for the drive and your complete cooperation in dismantling Cruz's network. And Cruz goes into federal custody. Life imprisonment, no parole. Cruz laughed. Harsh, bitter. You think prison will hold me? I have connections everywhere. Judges, wardens, politicians. I'll be out in a year. Maybe, Morrison said, but you won't be my problem anymore. He signaled his operators. They moved toward Cruz, weapons trained. Cruz's hand moved toward his jacket. Nyla's shot took him in the shoulder, spinning him around. His pistol clattered to the ground. Cruz collapsed, gasping, clutching the wound. That's for Vincent, Adrian said quietly. He stepped forward, standing over Cruz. And for Elena. And for everyone you've hurt in your climb to power. Cruz looked up at him, blood seeping between his fingers. You think you've won? You're just another player in a game that never ends. Kill me and someone else takes my place. Arrest me and my network continues. You've changed nothing. Maybe, Adrian said, but at least you won't be around to see it. Morrison's men hauled Cruz to his feet. They zip-tied his hands, began leading him toward one of the tunnel exits. Cruz looked back at Adrian one last time. We're not so different, you and I. We both built empires on blood. The only difference is I had the courage to admit what I was. No, Adrian said. The difference is I'm choosing to walk away. You never could. They watched Cruz disappear into the tunnel, Morrison and his team flanking him. When they were gone, Isabella handed the flash drive to one of Morrison's remaining men. Tell your boss he owes me, she said. The operator nodded and left. Silence fell in the tunnel, broken only by distant gunfire that was already tapering off. The battle was ending. Reyes's voice crackled on the radio. Adrian, we've secured the compound. Cruz's men are surrendering. It's over, Adrian responded. Cruz is in federal custody. Stand down. Understood. We're extracting now. Adrian, Nyla, and Isabella made their way back through the tunnels, emerging into the compound courtyard. Smoke drifted across the space. Bodies lay where they'd fallen. Reyes's men were collecting weapons, securing the perimeter. Reyes approached, bloodied but alive. Hell of a fight. Hell of a morning, Adrian agreed. Your men? 3 wounded, none dead. We were lucky. Reyes surveyed the damage. What happens now? Now we leave. Before Mexican authorities arrive asking questions we can't answer. They loaded into the surviving SUVs and drove away from the compound back toward the border. Behind them, smoke rose into the morning sky, the funeral pyre of an empire. At the border crossing, Morrison was waiting. He waved them through without inspection, keeping his end of the bargain. As they passed, he caught Adrian's eye and nodded once. They drove straight to Boyle Heights, to Reyes's garage, where Elena waited. She saw Adrian emerge from the SUV and ran to him, throwing her arms around him. He held her, feeling the tremors running through her body, and realized he was shaking too. It's over, he said. Cruz is gone. You're safe. For how long? Until the next person comes for you? There won't be a next person. Adrian pulled back, meeting her eyes. I'm out. Completely. The network, the business, all of it. I'm walking away. Can you just walk away? I have to, because you were right. This war doesn't end unless I end it. Inside the garage, Nyla was coordinating with Park through encrypted channels. We need to dismantle everything, she was saying. Every server, every account, every contact, clean slate. Park's voice came through the speaker. That's a lot of bridges to burn. Burn them all. I want this operation erased so thoroughly that no one can resurrect it. Adrian joined them. Do it, whatever it takes. Over the next 72 hours, they executed a systematic destruction of everything Adrian had built. Park wiped servers, deleted encrypted communications, closed bank accounts. Adrian personally contacted key clients, told them the network was shutting down permanently, referred them to competitors. Some accepted it. Others threatened retaliation. Adrian no longer cared. Isabella disappeared on the second day, leaving only a brief message. My family's safe. Starting over somewhere new. Thank you for the chance. Don't look for me. Adrian didn't. Reyes collected his payment, a substantial sum from Adrian's liquidated accounts, and faded back into the shadows of his weapons trade. If you ever need anything, he said before leaving, you know where to find me. I won't, Adrian said. But thank you. For what? For fighting when you didn't have to. Reyes smiled. I always have to fight. It's just nice when I get to choose the side. By the end of the week, Adrian's empire had been reduced to ashes. No network, no contacts, no organization, just money in offshore accounts, and the knowledge that he'd finally cut the chains that had bound him. Elena had been staying with them through the process, watching as her brother dismantled his criminal enterprise piece by piece. On the final day, she found him alone on the safe house balcony, staring at the city. What will you do now? She asked. I don't know. Maybe disappear for a while. Figure out who I am without all of this. Can I come with you? Adrian looked at his sister, 26 years old, traumatized but unbroken, still willing to stand beside him despite everything. You have school, your degree, your whole life ahead of you. I can take a semester off. Maybe we both need time away from normal life. Adrian smiled. Maybe we do. That night, Nyla found him packing. So you're really doing this, just walking away. Isn't that what you did 3 years ago? Yes. And I spent those 3 years running from ghosts. She leaned against the doorframe. You think it'll be different for you? I think I have to try. Adrian zipped the bag closed. What about you? What's next for Nyla Carter? I don't know. For 3 years I've been invisible. Then you happened, and suddenly I was fighting again, killing again, being the person I tried to escape. Do you regret it? Nyla considered the question. No, because this time I was fighting for something real, not orders from people I didn't know for reasons I didn't understand. I was fighting for you, for Elena, for the choice to walk away on our own terms. Then walk away with us. Nyla met his eyes. What are you asking? I'm asking if you want to stop running alone, if you want to figure out what comes next with people who understand what you've been through. Adrian, I don't know how to be normal, how to live without constantly looking over my shoulder. Neither do I. Maybe we figure it out together. Nyla was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled, genuine, warm, the first real smile he'd seen from her. Okay, she said, together. 2 weeks later, they crossed the border into Canada. Not running, not hiding, just 3 people choosing a different path. They rented a cabin in British Columbia, remote enough that the world felt distant. Adrian and Elena spent mornings hiking through forests that had never heard of cartels or empires. Nyla taught Elena self-defense, not to create another weapon, but to give her confidence, autonomy. Slowly, the nightmares faded. The constant vigilance relaxed. They learned to exist without violence defining every moment. One evening, 6 months after Cruz's arrest, Adrian received a message from Park. Morrison had sent it through encrypted channels. Cruz died in federal custody today, officially a heart attack. Unofficially, someone in prison had a score to settle. Thought you'd want to know. Adrian showed the message to Nyla. How do you feel? She asked. I don't know. Empty, maybe? Like I should feel something more. He was the enemy for so long. Now he's just gone. It's anticlimactic. Yeah. Adrian deleted the message. But at least it's over. Is it? Really? Adrian looked through the window at Elena, who was reading on the porch, sunlight in her hair. At peace for the first time in months. Yes, he said. It's really over. That night, they built a fire outside the cabin. Elena roasted marshmallows, laughing at Nyla's attempts to create the perfect s'more. Adrian watched them, these two women who'd been dragged into his war and somehow survived it. I've been thinking, Elena said, about going back to school, not UCLA, somewhere new, maybe here in Canada. What would you study? Nyla asked. Criminal justice, maybe law. I keep thinking about all the people like us, people trapped in cycles of violence who want out but don't know how. Maybe I could help them. Adrian felt pride swell in his chest. You'd be good at that. I learned from the best how to survive, how to fight, how to choose something different. She looked at him. You gave me that choice, Adrian, even when it cost you everything. You're my sister. You're worth everything. Elena hugged him, and for the first time since their parents died, Adrian felt like maybe they'd both survived the worst and come out stronger. Later, after Elena had gone to bed, Adrian and Nyla sat by the dying fire. Morrison sent another message, Nyla said, offering us both jobs, consultants for counterterrorism operations. Good pay, legitimate work. Are you considering it? Part of me is. The part that misses having purpose, mission clarity. But a bigger part remembers why I left that world. Because it never ends. Exactly. There's always another target, another mission, another war. I'm tired of wars. What do you want instead? Neela stared into the flames. I want to wake up without planning exit strategies. I want to trust people without calculating betrayal timelines. I want to be someone other than a weapon. You already are. Am I? I killed 11 people during the compound assault. 11. And I felt nothing. That scares me, Adrian, that I can do that and feel nothing. Adrian took her hand. Feeling nothing in the moment kept you alive. But you're feeling something now. That's what matters. That's what makes you human. I'm not sure I deserve to feel human after everything I've done. Neither am I, but maybe that's not for us to decide. Maybe we just keep trying to be better than we were yesterday. Nyla leaned against him, and they sat in comfortable silence as the fire burned low. The months turned into a year. Adrian found work as a financial consultant, legitimate, boring, legal. Elena enrolled at the University of British Columbia, studying criminology with intensity that suggested she'd found her calling. Nyla started a self-defense training center for women escaping abusive situations, channeling her skills toward protection rather than destruction. They built something new from the ashes of their old lives. Not perfect, not without struggles, but real. One afternoon, Adrian received a call from an unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. Adrian Vance? A woman's voice, unfamiliar. Who is this? Someone who knew Vincent Russo. He left something for you, in case he died. Adrian's chest tightened. What kind of something? A letter and a package. Can we meet? They met in a coffee shop in Vancouver. The woman was in her 50s, professional, carrying a briefcase. She introduced herself as Vincent's attorney. Vincent set this up years ago, she explained, with instructions to deliver it only if he died in service to you. She handed Adrian an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. Adrian, if you're reading this, I'm dead. Probably betrayed you first. I'm sorry. Cruz approached me 2 years ago, threatened my daughter. I thought I could play both sides, protect her while staying loyal to you. I was wrong. But know this, I never stopped caring about you. You were the closest thing I had to a brother. Whatever happens, whatever I did, remember that I died trying to protect the people I loved. We all make choices. Some are right, some are wrong. But they're ours. Make yours count. Vincent. Adrian's hand shook as he read. Nyla, sitting beside him, placed a hand on his shoulder. The attorney produced a package. He also left you this. Inside was a flash drive and a note. Every betrayal I committed, documented. If Cruz ever comes after you, use this to destroy him. Or use it to understand why I fell. Either way, it's yours now. Adrian stared at the drive. Evidence of Vincent's betrayal, his motivations, his desperate attempts to protect his daughter while serving two masters. What will you do with it? Nyla asked. Adrian looked at the drive for a long moment. Then he stood, walked to the coffee shop trash can, and threw it away. Nothing, he said. Vincent's dead. Cruz is dead. The war is over. This is just ghosts trying to keep fighting. The attorney looked surprised. Don't you want to know the full truth? I know enough. Vincent was my friend who made a terrible choice for understandable reasons. That's all I need to know. Outside the coffee shop, Neela took his hand. That was the right thing to do. Was it? Or am I just tired of knowing things? Maybe both. Maybe that's okay. They walked through Vancouver's streets, two former killers learning to live ordinary lives. It wasn't easy. Some days, Adrian woke up calculating threats that didn't exist. Some nights, Nyla dreamed of missions she'd never escape. But they had each other, and Elena, and the choice to keep trying. 2 years after the compound assault, Elena graduated summa cum laude. Adrian and Nyla attended her ceremony, sitting in the back row, watching her accept her degree. Afterward, Elena found them outside. I got accepted to law school. 3 different schools offered full scholarships. That's amazing, Adrian said, pulling her into a hug. I'm so proud of you. I'm thinking about victim advocacy, helping people caught up in situations like ours. She looked at both of them. Because of what we went through, I understand what they're feeling. And because of what you taught me, I know how to fight for them. You're going to change lives, Nyla said. I hope so. Someone changed mine. That evening, the 3 of them had dinner at a small restaurant overlooking the harbor. They talked about Elena's future, about Nyla's training center expanding, about Adrian's consulting work. Normal conversation, normal lives, normal futures. And for the first time in either of their lives, both Adrian and Nyla felt like that might be enough. 3 years after leaving Los Angeles, Adrian sat on the cabin porch watching sunset paint the mountains gold. Nyla emerged from the house carrying 2 cups of coffee. Elena called, she said, handing him a cup. She's engaged. Wedding next spring. To the law school professor? The one who looks nothing like a crime lord. She has a type, apparently. Adrian laughed. She deserves happiness. So do you. Nyla sat beside him. Are you happy, Adrian? He thought about it. The question would have been impossible to answer 3 years ago. Happiness had seemed like something other people experienced, people who didn't build empires on blood money, who didn't make choices that destroyed lives. But sitting here, with this woman who understood his darkness because she carried her own, watching the sun set on a life he'd built from ruins. Yes, he said. Think I am. Good. Nyla leaned her head on his shoulder. Because I am too. They sat in silence as darkness fell. 2 weapons who'd chosen to become something else. The wars behind them. The future uncertain but theirs to write. Somewhere in Los Angeles, the criminal underworld continued its endless cycles of violence and power. But Adrian Vance and Nyla Carter were no longer part of that story. They'd written a different ending, and they were finally, truly free.